Hi.
Not you, Murphy.
Hi, livers. Lovers, your live. Your love. Hi. It's been a while. And I'll talk more about why it's been a while. During my little Lionsgate tail party later tonight. But for now, I just want to do some yoga. And I've never posted anything like yoga classy on my channel yet. So I figured I'll do it like at least once. And I am craving yoga because I love group classes. I think my first like yoga effort previous like half a year to actually yoga was P90X, the yoga disc. Should kick my ass. And that's all right. I was already, well into personal training and fitness and everything. And then I took a hot yoga class synchronistically, and it changed my life. I changed my life. And my finding that yoga at the time was an aspect of that. Anyways, the important aspect I want to share is how much, how integral my yoga practice is, in almost like even an unconscious, subconscious way to feeling people. I'm never one to do other group classes. I think in like whatever 10 years of going to the gym, I maybe went to like one or two. Not my thing. But with yoga, it was different. And I'm making some transitions with how I shed and shine my energy. So I've decided to not really go to my yoga studio so much. But I'm aching for physical exercise. And I, confession, almost never practice at home. Addendum, I'm always doing yoga. Like physically, whatnot. But I want to do it today. And I'll teach the class a little bit, but it's mostly maybe an example, because people have an idea about what yoga is, and people have an idea about what a lot of things are. And the most unfortunate thing that you can do for an idea is end it. Make it stop, thinking that you've reached the end of the idea story, that you know what it is, because there's always more mystery. You don't have to look everywhere, but there's more mystery everywhere you look. And I feel like, okay, almost like I'm just hearing all like the yoga rhetoric that it's like little parables and really useful ways of conveying the importance of the opportunity of connecting with yourself and your environment. Yoga, yoking, connecting, those truly, that can be anything. Anything, it's like I and other. This and that, anything, that's yoga. So going through this shifting empathological, I know I'm making that up, but I want it to sound cool, rhythmic. MP psychological, I'm working on it. These trying times for the resurfacing of our power, which is our love, and the schisms and conflicts that each of us are here to resolve for ourselves, for our souls, for our greater souls, for our under souls, for the love, for all the love. Superficially, and all I mean is that more closer to the surface, not any less powerful. People ask, how do I know if a thought is my own? And it might sound simple, but the only way to know is to ask. You're like, yeah, but if I'm talking to a voice inside my head that's like, I'm like, are you me? And it's like, yeah. And I'm like, how do I know? And I'm like, because it's true. It's like, how do I really know? Well, you're on the right track, having that kind of conversation. Because eventually voices will say things that conflict. They don't agree with it. And then you're like, oh, that's what not me sounds like. It's usually just not comfortable. Dare I say painful? But that alone isn't a marker of what is the issue. It's like our spine. For example, it's so wavy, it works in an S. And if you have, and if you take any part that feels discomfort, it's like, we'll take the low back, for example. It's a very common pain. And so they have pain in their low back and then they scream at their low back, like, I hate your low back, my low back sucks. So, meanwhile, the low back is like fucking Herculean, and it's just not being supported. So if anything in your body is hurt or uncomfortable, it's not it that sucks. It's above it or below it, or not holding it up, or pulling it forward. So in the case of a low back, if your low back is painful, it's look higher up on your back, and look lower. A lot of low back pain comes from hips and shoulders, the hip girdle and the shoulder girdle. If I hurt my wrist, it's not like the wrist's fault, it's the angle that the forearm's forced, or that the fingers are forced. So your yoga class, depending on like which realm of activity that you are most familiar, maybe adept at, and I'm speaking about the most physical, emotional, and then mental, you can use yoga as an entry point, as a gateway, as it were, into discovery of more of yourselves. I was a little wordy, so let me make it a little more succinct and tie it into our practice today. I'm very physical and I'm very mental. I'm actually very emotional too, but I'm not that feeling center. It's like, since I'm sharing, it's almost like as a safety mechanism, my threshold for pain, emotional pain, is very, 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 very low, or very, very, very high. In that I won't feel most things as much, because I'd unconsciously not let it in. But then relationships or whatever I call love, my work, kids, loving people, just having fun, that is like that small wedge that just gets all my emotional virility. So getting into yoga and connecting physically with my body, like how do I do this so it doesn't hurt? Okay, well, does it hurt now? Like no. Okay, what do you like that? Okay, no, that kind of. I guess this is what's supposed to feel. This is the whole like lie about yoga poses. It's like, well, how's it feel? It's like, well, you know what? I see the opportunity of going like this, but if I support myself like that, and I'm like physically being like, well, my low back hurts. What can I help? Well, shoulder and hips. Shoulders are higher, hips are lower. I'm going to put my hand on my hips and to just give myself some proprioception around my hips, solid, steady, cool. And I'm going to roll my shoulders back, but then like down, lift them up, just like really like almost like compress my shoulder girdle. So my upper body is lifting my low back. My lower body is grounding, rooting my low back. And my low back itself is free to allow for a little bit of softness, because that's what mobility requires, that we soften a little. But then if you soften and move, you're not supported, it hurts. And then you find yourself having this conversation with yourself about your knee. And you're like, whoa. And then that's it. It's just whoa. And then you get in an argument or you get an upset. And then you liken it to, you're like, oh, well, I fucked up this. But really, I didn't fuck up that. I fucked up like that morning when I didn't do this. It's like, well, did I really fuck that up? Did I forget it? Or am I not caring about something that I deserve to be caring about because it's me? And I'm not giving it to myself because I'm not paying attention. And I'm still learning how to love myself. You know, so instead of placing your hand in your hip and like setting your chest and your shoulders, you wake up an hour earlier to do nothing. Because when you wake up closer to when you have to leave, you don't feel like you have your time. You're rushing away. And so you end up late or whatever. I'm obviously projecting. So you end up late or whatever, but you're like, fuck it, I don't care because I want my time. Well, okay, fair enough. But where's the love? And then you find it. And then eventually just all the kinks and all the joints and everything gets supported. And then you become something whole. Once you've kind of gone through a system, working out the things in the system that make it different within itself, it's only until the very last like little thing kind of smooths out that the whole thing becomes a thing. And that's yoga. That's what we're yoking. I'm going to touch on one more thing about the emotions, because there's so much ignorance around them on purpose, because that's basically where it's like power, basically. If you're like a being of the all, it requires a distinction between feelings and emotions, because people just will use them interchangeably, and that's not useful. So I call feelings more like senses. I can feel the carpet underneath my hands, but I can also feel the back of my neck get hot and flush if I'm blushing. Those are both feelings. my emotional state right now is calm and relaxed and preparing for a yoga practice that I enjoy. So because of all of my practice, without thinking about it, I can tell that I'm opening up my senses to my environment and kind of hear things and see things, let light land where it will, with a more broader awareness. And at the same time, I'm withdrawing and coming more into just hearing the silence within. And that's kind of like the emotion that has me feel the carpet underneath my hands, because I wouldn't be here on the carpet talking to you if I didn't feel these things. So the feeling's not the emotion. If you stub your toe, that's a feeling. And when you get pissed off about it, that's the emotion. And this is, I'm not going to go to, because I'm ready to practice. Feelings don't move you. Thoughts don't go anywhere in particular. Emotions aren't thoughts and they're not feelings. They're the synergy of them both. And something divine. It's like half is feeling and thought combined, right? Like the form of something and the way it feels combined, and then an ineffable divinity that's moving in the same direction, or not. There are no bad emotions, just the emotions you don't feel or you don't think about. And just about all of that, the whole realm of our emotions can be loved and healed if we look at it and be like, okay, well, where am I not supported by the way that I feel or the way that I think? Because if I'm having an emotion that it's not even really about enjoying, that I don't believe in, then what's supporting it? And if it's something that I don't believe in, then it runs contrary by its nature to something that I do believe in. And just like you press down through your inner heel and ball of the foot, while at the same time kind of palming the floor, as it were, soling the floor and lifting the arch of your foot to so that you can really set that shoulder in and reach the furthest away from that foot than you like, that feels delicious, and do something you didn't think you could do before. And fuck it, just do something, go where you want to go. Your emotions can be considered in a similar model. And just like when you're holding a squat or something like that, it's like, I can imagine reasonably only one other person that I've ever easily met, but even like know of. They're mostly interchangeable because I don't really know people. Maybe he's cried more than me, but I think it's more likely a tie. I've cried a lot, and there's not once that I've cried that I wouldn't have cried then. If I may be sassy, I generally hate feeling the way that I feel when I'm crying. But I believe in it. And it's aligned with the integrity of who I believe I am and what I want, what I choose to be true. And until there's no reason to cry, believing in what I believe in, then I'm going to cry. But it's a lot easier to be in those emotions that are uncomfortable when you know that you're in relationship with them and not separated or in conflict. Like you're holding chair pose, you're like, "Grr, everything's burning." But you know you can stand up at any time. You know you can stand up at any time, but obviously you're not going to because you're here for a reason. But you know it's not forever. And all those things, like you've got the inner locus of control when you're in the shits, either on the toilet or in the tar of your broken heart. There's like this too shall pass, and at the same time there can be a, you know, this too I am passing, again, either in the broken heart or on the toilet. Your feelings don't get you anywhere. Your thoughts aren't real. But by navigating your emotions like a limb, not as a creature, a monster, an angel, some higher power that's just going to happen to you, but not all of you either, then with respect, you can move it and use it in all the ways that divinity is imagined as possible. And if there was a language of the universe, it would be movement. So communicate with your emotions and listen to your own. Yeah. Start with like a brief meditation, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. I don't know how much of it I'll teach and how much I'll just move, but I'm going to play a little fucking yoga woo-woo music. I would put on EDM, but I don't want this thing to get flagged. Too lazy. Because I do love to dance, and you'll see a little bit of that probably. But if you were to not do the yoga class, but you were just kind of interested in what I'm interested in teaching about yoga, is you'll notice that I don't do things symmetrically. I don't always do something on one side that I do on the other. In fact, you'll see me entirely and exclusively move how and when I feel like it in the moment. And a little esoteric whisper is that isn't mindless. In fact, in the field of knowing, all is connected. And the way that we moves our physical body, our emotional body, right? Because when you do something that you want to do, how's it feel? And then you're not in runner's lunge anymore. You're in victory. And that ripples. Your hands ripple. And the more you connect with any one part of yourself, the more you connect with the rest. And that's all of us. I love you. I'll probably talk shit. shoulders. If you're joining me, then you've probably maybe even started to shift, because I've started to shift. And that's good rapport. Now feel your skin where it touches the floor. What's that feel like? And then breathe. What's that feel like? Your foot, or your shin, or your nothing, and your breath. Feel how they're both happening at the same time. That you could see two things happening, or just one. Hear your breath. And hear your world. Hear the music, symphony, raw, with no interruptions. No sound, no feeling could distract you away from itself. The sounds, the feelings of your world, your breath. And if your eyes are closed, and if your eyes are not closed, recognize your eyes. And then instead of looking at one thing, soften. See your breath. And let all the light land on your eyes equally. Let the light come to you. You're seeing, you're feeling, you're hearing your breath. What's an emotion? And then answer that with the way that you think you feel. And then erase the label. Don't give it a name. Make it more like a part of a song. Like you know that part. But it's more than just the title of the song. And then notice that is distinct from your thoughts, from the way the floor feels against you, distinct from your breath, your emotions. Don't make it different. Find the difference that is. Relax. And then see the distinction, soften, melt, merge. The rest of your breath, evolve. Your life filled with distinct oneness. Soften your lower belly and allow the air to breathe you by creating space. in your gut. You can control your breath. You cannot find, like, it's got its own rhythm. It can't not. If you want, you can imagine that you're breathing with your whole body, or just your skin, or just your hands and your feet, or just your heart. If your eyes are closed, they can start to gently open. And then just for this moment, gently close them. That was what was distinct. Take a breath. And even before they open, the light will change. Feel, hear, and see your emotions flowing into the same. Find the floor and support your movements. I'm going to stay seated because my knees need some love. You'll notice that I'm not using the yoga mat. It's over there. Because you don't need a yoga mat to do yoga. Especially with practice, you can let go of the thought form of the technique. Because you tried enough to do things wrong. Do you know what it like sounds like? Feeling good. Part of the silliness of focusing on doing the same thing on both sides. If you do yoga, you know it. I mean, just by saying it like that. It wasn't lost on me. And really early, it was a point of chuckle in classes. Just like, I'm left-handed. I do a bunch of shit with my right hand that I don't do with my left. What up? So why do I need to do the same thing to both sides when they don't do the same thing in my life the same way? It's to bring balance, Elliot. What the fuck is balance if it isn't feeling good? I'm doing banana pose. Once on my front, once on my back. So I did both sides. Same, but different. Also, what often gets lost is where you're looking. To be honest, I didn't really pay so hard attention to that. For most of the time that I've practiced. But it's become a powerful next step on the path of my own evolution. Also, there's this lie about getting into a pose and there being a right way to do it. When yoga is about discovering your right way and your left. It's less important that you just get your hips level or straighten legs or anything. Because wherever you are, if you just run through the cycle of effort, you always go a little somewhere new. There is no such thing so much as out of your alignment. Just out of your awareness, out of your touch. To get really good at not losing your balance, practice losing your balance. Always. Because that'll never stop. But what it looks like, what it feels like, what you think it means, will forever and always change. Allowing movements to continue their life. Not stopping at prescribed angles. Describing new ones to your character. For instance, I'm working on grounding. When your breath is fast, Your breath is slow. Let it. And then, with love, acceptance, allowing becomes turning. Your breath is fast. Make it slow. Breath is slow. Make it fast. Your breath is out of control. Bring your breath into control. Can you tell? I put some little sneak into that advice. Do it one more time. We'll do it together. Your breath is fast. Let it. Then make it slow. You let it. Just as it is. Birthing your awareness. And then you turn it into fast. Not by changing the speed. Changing the breath at all. Just turn. What you just called slow into what you're calling now fast. Called slow. What you called fast. Everything changes. You don't need to help that. But not everything changes into something beautiful. Nothing changes into something beautiful if it changes and you don't see a change. Support my low back. Use my arms, use the floor. Shoulders. Hips. Hip thrusting, engage. And then my low back, use some support, well, it's going to push into the front of my body. It's going to be like, yo, I love you. Hang on to me. It's going to squeeze up. Your abs, they're going to squeeze down because they're hugging back. Your abdominal muscles are multivalent. And just as they squeeze back down to return the hug, top of your abs, they reach out and they kiss the world. And the lips lock because they know as much as they're hugging you back, you're going to fall. They've got nothing to hang on to. When you imagine things to be true, they become true. Works for the shitty things. Pretend it works for the good things too. Find the bad thing that looks like you. Don't change it. Just see the good. Loving yourself through your emotions like this. So you change you. I change you. We all change. Sovereignly. And with each other. Bridge, and Rabbit, and Shavash. It's just me, as my concert will probably start a little later, but how could you not? Have you ever met me? When it comes to yoga, I do what I want. It's just love. Sometimes tinted. And I don't care about what colors I see. Just that they're the same as you. We're different when it's fun. So if I see purple, then you see yellow. But I know you see yellow. I see purple.
And we're still seeing the same thing. Because I'm seeing purple. And yellow see you. And varsity. I don't love shoulder stand. Doesn't feel good in my body. But a little legs up the wall. Slam me the fuck up. Grab it, and then I'll probably do a little shavasana. Final chat.
it's not. Except the dim and the bright. And I see you. And I breathe and I hear and I feel and I see you. It feels like me. It feels good. We run with that emotion. So that all that I am and all that I'm not honors and is honored to be the not. And that everything that you are. And if I say, so I must be. For loving leads to before you and follows after you. I love you. Namaste. Shavasana. And if you'd like to join me, you're welcome. Because we'll share our form through our practice. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It matters how you see it, what it feels like, who you want to go with it. Be kind. And let love lie. Let light die. Just never stop loving. Peace.
I love you.